Hello guys! Today I'm going to be doing the last 10 books tag, and this one was originally created by Mark Nash, and I will put his channel down below, and I was tagged by none other than Mason in the Dark, and so I'll also put his channel down below. If you have not checked out Mason's channel, it's amazing. You need to go watch his stuff. It's so good. So I'm just going to jump right into the questions. The first one says, what was the last book that you didn't finish? And unfortunately, I did not finish Doctor Strange and Mr. Norrell. I heard a lot of really good things about this book, and I know they made it into a Netflix show, but I could not get through it. It was just... There are not many times when I say that a book is legitimately boring, but I thought this one was legitimately boring. And maybe I just didn't get far enough in it, but I was like over halfway through the book and I still was bored. So maybe it's me, I don't know, but I'm gonna give Piranesi a try, and hopefully that's more, my speed. So question 2 is, what is the last book you reread? And I do reread Harry Potter every year, but I haven't done that yet. I'm doing it next week with Klaus. We're gonna do them all in 1 week, guys. We're gonna try and do them all in 1 week. But the last book that I think I've reread most recently was Lord of the Rings, and I did the read-along with the server, the Discord server, that's Books with Brittany, and that was really fun watching everyone's commentary and stuff, because there were a lot of people who hadn't read it before, and it'd been a long time for me. I think the last time I actually read it was probably high school, so I've subsisted off of the movies since then, but it was really nice to actually reread it, and I still love it. Not the Shelob part. I can't. Movie, book, whichever one, I can't deal with Shelob. I have to be bundled in blankets or something so I can't feel creepy crawlies. What's question 3? What is the last book you bought? You mean books? I won't show you my stack of books from Book Outlet that's sitting across the room over there. I think the most recent book I purchased just came in the mail yesterday, and that was my beautiful copy of Tigana that I got off of Thrift Books. And even though it was, the spine is all bent and stuff, it's still really pretty and I love it. I need to really start to go on a book buying moratorium. I feel like a lot of you, though, know how I feel, and it's like the last 1 book I bought. No, you mean the last 20 books I bought. Question 4. What is the last book that you said you read that you actually didn't? And I feel like in the book community, lying about reading a book is probably breaking one of the book commandments or something. However, I have done this once, but I have read the book. I just didn't read it when I said I read it. So this was back in college. My freshman year of college, I took a Shakespeare class, and I love Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. But my senior year of high school, I had to read Hamlet. And then the first semester of my freshman year, I had to read Hamlet for a different class. And then in my Shakespeare class, they were like, we're reading Hamlet again, and you're going to write an essay on it. And I said, screw that. I'm not reading it for a 3rd time in a year and a half. I've already read it a billion times. I'm just going to write the essay without it. And so I didn't reread it. Still got an A on the essay, though. But yeah, I really I don't understand why people would lie about reading a book, because if you haven't read it and the person you're talking to does love it and they've read it recently, they're gonna figure it out. It's not like a TV show where you can make guesses based off of the commercials or whatever. You're gonna get caught if you say you've read a book that you haven't. Anyway, okay. Question 5 is, what is the last book that you wrote in? Now, I don't write in my fiction books because if I want to give them to someone else, I want them to be free of annotations and stuff. I'll write on sticky notes, or I'll write on tabs, or I'll have a notebook. But the last book I wrote in was an autobiography called Buddha and the Borderline. And I'll put a picture up here. And this book was amazing. So I have a person in my life who has borderline personality disorder. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's a fairly painful mental illness, it's personality disorder, and it is very, very often spoke of in a negative way, and there are a lot of misconceptions surrounding this mental illness, and it's something that really affects not just the person who has it, but all of the loved ones that care about them. And so I read this book to kind of try and understand more things about it, and it was really, really helpful. It's a autobiography written by a woman who has borderline personality disorder, and it starts from when she was in high school and a young woman, and how she got her diagnosis and her life, and how she's gone through therapy and all the things that she's had to do in order to get to this part of her life now that she's a mature adult who's gone through dialectical behavior therapy, and now she has a more functioning life. And it's really inspirational. It's a really great story. So even if you don't have anyone in your life that has BPD, I would suggest to give it a read, because it's really insightful and it's written in a kind of a funny way. I just really like her writing, so I highly recommend that. I might be biased. I'm doing my master's thesis on dialectical behavior therapy, which is one of the only approved treatments for borderline personality disorder. It was created for that. So if you're interested, especially since it's Mental Health Awareness Month, you should give that a try. I really loved it. So the next question is, what is the last book that you had signed? Now, I have two answers for this. So I'm a huge Brandon Sanderson fan. I am a Cosmere conspiracy theorist. I know I haven't done a video on it yet, but I have some in the pipeline. But I have recently acquired a leather-bound copy of Warbreaker, which is my personal favorite Sanderson novel, and it's beautiful and it's signed and I love it. However, I have not gotten to meet Brandon Sanderson, so I'm still hoping that after COVID is all taken care of, that I can get, a book that I've had signed by him in front of me, so that I can meet him and say hello and tell him that he's wonderful and his books are so important to me. But the last book that I got signed in person was Briefcases by Jim Butcher, and I'll put the picture up here. He's really fun. This was actually before Peace Talks came out, and so at the Q&A session, like, everyone was trying to ask him questions about, when's your next book gonna come out? Tell us more about your book. And so he, I think he read the first chapter or something from Peace Talks, but he was really pissed off about how many people were asking questions about that. He's a really cool dude, though. He's really funny, super nice. If you get a chance to meet Jim Butcher, do it, because he's awesome. Okay, question 7. What is the last book that you lost? Now, I haven't, I don't believe I have misplaced a book. To be fair, most of my books have been in storage for the last 2 years because I lived in Boston in a tiny apartment for grad school, and so I haven't really unpacked all of them. So we'll see if I've lost any when I move in a month and a half. But the last book that left my possession and never returned was my 3 books that were the Night Angel trilogy by Brent Weeks. I lent them to my friend and she never returned them. She did read them though, so I'm okay with that. As long as you read them and enjoy them, just let me know that you did something to them and I'll be okay. So question 8 is actually, what's the last book you had to replace? And it's going to be my Night Angel trilogy by Brent Weeks. But it was okay because I had the paperback, individual, mass market paperbacks. And then when I got a new copy, I was gifted the 10th anniversary, special edition omnibus. And it's beautiful and it has, these black edges to it. And the whole thing is, matte black with shiny black writing. It's so pretty. I love it. So I kind of upgraded, I guess, a little bit. So I can't really be that mad at her. I wasn't. I love her anyway. And I forgot. And I didn't lose this, but this was a really cool find of mine. So I technically replaced it. When I was visiting my friends over on the west side of Michigan, I got to go to my favorite used bookstore, which is Kazoo Books. And I'll link them down below in case you live in Southwest Michigan. And I found on their shelves, hidden away, a hardcover copy of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And they had a section where they had some first editions, but somehow this one slipped through the grasp, And so I got a hardcover first edition of Prisoner of Azkaban for like $8. And so I was so happy. And so that's replaced my old hardcover copy because it was falling apart. Because when I was a kid, I didn't know how to take care of books. So I love that. Question number 9. What's the last book that you had an argument over? And I think it was probably in one of the Discords, probably in the Library of Alexandria Discord. Maybe with Tom, maybe with someone else. People gotta stop. People gotta stop shitting on Brandon Sanderson. I will defend Stormlight Archive. I will defend it. I think that's probably what I was arguing about. Like, it's usually Tom saying they suck and me responding with, no, they don't, and maybe you should get refined tastedness because you don't have any. Boom. So I will stand up for the Cosmere any day of the week. I also enjoy good conversations about Harry Potter. I have been known to debate the Snape and the Dumbledore issues. And I once got in a spirited debate with someone about whether or not the Cursed Child should be allowed to be canon. No, it shouldn't. Anyway, question number 10. What is the last book you couldn't get a hold of? I had a heck of a time trying to get a copy of The Bitter Twins, and that is the sequel to Ninth Reign by Jennifer Williams. And this is a British series, and for some reason it's not for sale in the United States. And so I ordered the first and the third ones off of Book Depository because I know I'm gonna love it. The recommendations from everybody I know, like, I just know I'm going to love it. And so I got the 2 of them off Book Depository, and then could not find Bitter Twins for the life of me. It was sold out there. They didn't have any in AbeBooks. I could not order them from anywhere else in the UK, and they didn't have them available in the US. They didn't even have the Kindle version. So I was like really close to trying to email the author and saying, hey, I really want this book. Is there any way you know if I can get my hands on it? But then I got an alert saying that it was in. So after all of that struggle, I was able to get it from Book Depository. I don't think I've come across a book that's like out of print or anything yet. I've been really lucky to always be able to find something at like a used bookstore or whatnot, but I would probably be devastated if something I really wanted to read was out of print and I couldn't get a hand on it. The other one is the Fairy Loot special edition copies of the Red Rising trilogy, which I fear I will never own. They're beautiful, and people who have bought them, who don't want to keep them, who are just being evil because they want to make money, are selling them on eBay for like $800. So I'm going to be stuck without those books because I cannot justify spending $800 on 3 books. I just don't live in that kind of world, guys. So that was the last question on this. This was really fun thinking about like what I've read before. I like shorter tags like this. And if I'm going to tag people who hasn't done this, if I tag you and you've already done it, sorry. So Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads. I'll tag Evie from She Was Always Evie. And I will tag Ola from The Reading Witch. Yes, my tag friends. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you later. If there was weird ambient noise in this video, I'm sorry. My neighbor decided to start mowing his lawn while I was filming. So I hope it wasn't that loud. Bye, guys.